Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. Some news on the Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman is at it again. And some other news with the offensive line. And Jeff Stoutland did talk today, which we'll go over some of that as well. Let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Well, Howie Roseman just seems to just keep going and keep going and keep going. And Howie Roseman, once again, is still trying to make some moves here. And they ended up restructuring a couple contracts in Lane Johnson and Jake Elliott, minimizing that and converting the $5.88 million to $6.9 million in savings. Okay, so with a few days to the season starts, I don't think there's another move happening. I don't think so. But, you know, I'd be kind of surprised if Howie has something up his sleeve just a little bit. But I think this is just to get the cap right as well, because you go into next year and obviously the cap is going to rise a lot. So the Eagles are really building a very good financial foundation for this organization, and that's a good thing. Like, we are kind of starting to get out of the cap hell every single year. The Eagles have a lot of one-year deals going into next year. A lot of guys coming off these one-year deals. Oh, not one-year deals, but guys coming off the last years of their contracts going into next year. A lot of decisions are going to have to be made by the 2023 offseason, okay? With one-year deals as in Marcus Epps, Anthony Harris, Fletcher Cox is probably going to be gone. Hargrave is due for an extension. Graham is going to be gone after this year if he doesn't get re-signed. So there's a lot of decisions that the Eagles are going to have to make, and I think the Eagles are going to be in really good cap situation next year. They got 2 first-rounders and a second-round pick next year. Jalen Hurts, do your thing this year. Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon, please help this team this year reach its full potential for what it has on paper with this roster right now. So it's really nice to see that Howie is, and this is a good thing. When you're restructuring from $70-something million like we did going into the 2021 season, it was kind of hard to watch because, it's so many bad contracts. And you know what? Howie Roseman hasn't locked himself into a bad contract at all, which is really good. So a lot of people don't like the players coming off the last years of their deals, but it's a good thing because now Howie Roseman can extend them during the year. He can make any type of decision he wants, okay, going into next offseason. So this is a really good start. Eagles save almost $7 million, and I can't really complain about it. A move to happen. I mean, I'd be kind of stunned if he just makes a move before the season starts with a few more days left. I'd be kind of shocked over that. But you guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this and what the restructure means. Is it more for cap flexibility, a move, or maybe a little bit of both? We'll see. I think one that you could probably guess on right now is you have Javon Hargrave, last year of his deal, Fletcher Cox, last year of his deal, and Brandon Graham last year of his deal. So potentially you can lose three defensive linemen this year, which I don't think that's going to happen. So I feel like Hargrave might get an extension. I think I think Marcus Epps might get not really a mid-tier contract, but like a little 2-year extension, something like that. So, we'll see how these players play. We'll see how everything pans out this year. And maybe someone's going to get an extension during the middle of this year. So definitely getting more cap is definitely fine with me, and I'm pretty happy about it. So, other than that, we had some news. Jeff Stoutland I love Jeff Stoutland's press conferences because he's just straight to the point, and he tells us everything we need to know about the offensive line because we really haven't heard from him in a long time. Okay, obviously talk about the offensive line. Probably the most improved, I can't talk today, improved player on this offensive line is going to be Landon Dickerson in his mind, okay? And I definitely think so because even last year, coming off the ACL the year prior from Alabama as the starting center, he was supposed to be the starting center for us. I mean, really, this turned a B-plus draft into an A-minus draft because I said if Landon Dickerson worked out coming out of the second round, which he was supposed to be a late first-round pick, then, damn, this is going to be really good. So obviously the 49ers home opener last year when he went in at right guard after Brandon Brooks got hurt, he didn't even really play good. Then they moved him to left guard, and that was it. That was it. And then we had to get another center after that, a future center after that, because at that time, we didn't know what the future of Jason Kelce was going to look like. So I think Dickerson has been physical. He's been fantastic. He's been a powerhouse next to Jurgens Mailata. And I think that left side has been the strongest that's ever been, which is awesome. And obviously with Jurgens Mailata, Jeff Stoutland pretty much saying it took him 2 years to really get better. I mean, this is a guy that played rugby football, drafted in the 7th round. I mean, just crazy that the Eagles took a chance on him. They put him on the fake IR a couple times because they knew that a team would go out there and try to pry him off the roster, which they didn't let that happen. And Mailata is looking like a left tackle, a left Pro Bowler for the left side of this line. And I'm so excited for this offensive line for years and years to come. Hence why we don't have to sign mid-tier running backs, don't have to sign big contracts for running backs. And you could do so much with plug-in type players in the backfield with the offensive line you have set right now. That left side is really strong. I can't wait to see more this year. And obviously Cam Jurgens was talked highly. So Jeff Stoutland actually originally said before Kelce had the elbow surgery to clean out his elbow, Cam Jurgens was really supposed to, he was actually supposed to have some reps at guard. So I figured before the elbow surgery, I said that there was rumors coming out, and I heard from the middle of camp that they were supposed to try to cross-train him to right guard, play next to Kelce, and maybe compete next to Isaac Seumalo for that right guard spot. Now, Jack Driscoll was moving down the roster, down that depth chart pretty fast. He was getting beaten out almost every week. He was playing, and then I think he moved from guard to tackle during training camp. He got beat by Hassan Reddick and Graham. I mean, he had a tough time, but I thought Driscoll is a solid, could play right guard, right tackle, good depth for us for Jack Driscoll. So I love him being here. I think he's definitely highly a good gem for us. God forbid someone gets injured. I don't know if Driscoll will ever start, but if you had to put him in a game, I'd be pretty comfortable with it as of right now. But Cam Jurgens with his pulling and his physicality, and Jeff Stoutland did talk about his hand placement got so much better. His technique, he's undersized like Jason Kelce was. He's not trying to call him another Jason Kelce. He wants Cam Jurgens to be his own player, but obviously Howie Roseman and Jason Kelce kind of handpicked collectively during the draft and kind of looked at centers this whole entire time, and Cam Jurgens seems like a huge steal. And really, Jason Kelce having the elbow surgery is pretty good for us because Cam Jurgens got a lot of reps with the one, especially during the first game, and he played so well. I think he was our best pick that really has shown a lot more than expected. I didn't think Cam Jurgens was going to play that well, just getting thrown into the fire. But sometimes when these things happen, they just play excellent. And his physicality, the way he pulls, and he's just been seeing carcasses get thrown back and forth nonstop during these preseason games is fantastic. And he really is becoming that mark, could be that big leader on the offensive line. So for years to come, Cam Jurgens, what a gem. Jeff Stoutland has done a fantastic job with him, and with Kelce with the mentorship. I think Cam Jurgens is an A-plus pick, and it always will be. I mean, this is just fantastic. And, by next year in 2023, Cam Jurgens will be the starting center as Jason Kelce will retire. So you had 3 immediate impacts from the preseason for all first 3 of our draft picks, and I think you've done a really good job there. So. And then Josh Sills was talked about as well, and really, I was kind of shocked he made the roster because I really wasn't looking at him during preseason too much. Because when I was streaming and looking, I wasn't really looking at Josh Sills too much. But from what I heard from Jeff Stoutland, when they put him at tackle, he really did a good job. This is a guy that went to, I think, 2 different colleges, played 5 different offensive line positions. He's played almost every position on the offensive line in college, and I don't know how much they've cross-trained him. I think they put him at guard, and I think mostly he's been a left tackle for the Eagles. I don't know if they put him at right tackle yet, but definitely left tackle. So Sills could be a nice gem project to really work on the next year or 2 to see where he can end up. Could be the backup left tackle for the Eagles. I think maybe Sills was a part of let's trade Dillard and get something for him because they think Sills was doing a really good job, and maybe they thought that maybe Sills' ceiling was a lot higher than Dillard's as of right now. So with Jeff Stoutland in the building and what he's doing with this offensive line has been fantastic. So obviously with Andre Dillard going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with the stress fracture, And I still think a trade could happen. I still think they'll deal him by the trade deadline by week 9. I think that could happen. I think we all need to watch out for that. But Sills has been a big surprise to Jeff Stoutland, so that's a good sign that they found somebody not only that could be a backup left tackle for us, which we really need by next season, and obviously during the first quarter of this year, because you're going to miss Andre Dillard for 4 to 6 weeks. But for the future, you could have your backup left tackle as of right now. So, and look, if he could cross-train other positions and they want to do that with him, I'm totally fine. The more as an offensive lineman, the more positions you can play, the more of value you're going to have. Okay, just like Brett Toth is on injured reserve right now. He can play tackle and guard, and really more of not a gem, but more of a project, but they see some flashes with him as well, and he will be on the PUP/IR going into this year, as well as Tyree Jackson that's on there. So, his offensive line's been great. I mean, Isaac Seumalo is another one that's been, I never really been an Isaac Seumalo fan. Okay, I think it was Oregon State 3rd round. I wasn't a big fan. I've always liked his run blocking. His pass protection is kind of suspect to me. And I figured before everything that was going on with the offensive line, all the news with Kelsey and Cam Jurgens, Kelsey having the elbow surgery, and then Cam Jurgens got most of the reps, I figured that there was going to be competition at the right guard spot when Isaac Seumalo ended up getting hurt last year, came back this year, and I figured there would be more competition between Driscoll, Isaac Seumalo, and maybe Cam Jurgens would try to step in and play at right guard this year. But Isaac Seumalo has always been ranked very high, and I think he's just getting better every single year. I'm not saying his pass protection is too suspect, but there's been times where I think his run blocking is just better. Doesn't mean he's not a bad offensive lineman at all. That's not saying he's not a bad guard at all. So, been very happy with this offensive line. Been very happy with Jeff Stoutland and just the preparation. And you got to give this man an extension for the future. You have to let this guy just do his thing. Give him an extension. Let him work with the offensive lineman going forward. And it just seems it's just so crazy now between the past couple years that Howie Roseman has given insight and has given Jeff Stoutland some leeway on trying to find another guard or another offensive lineman or a trench guy in general, and getting his thoughts on it. And obviously letting Kelsey, take over as, a collaborative effort during the draft to find this next guard. And I think, Cam Jurgens was definitely overwhelmingly surprised me. Because I didn't think he would show like that, like 2 seconds. But obviously Kelsey and Howie Roseman have seen something in him, and I think we've seen it already on film. Before we did see it on film, we didn't know what we were going to expect, but it seems like you have your starting center for the future in Cam Jurgens, and it should be a lot of fun going forward. So other than that, guys, let me know what you guys think about the restructure of Jake Elliott, Lane Johnson, restructuring and saving $6.9, almost $7 million. What does it mean? Is it for a move now? Is it for just to get the cap stability, or is it for both? And then obviously the offensive line and what Jeff Stoutland said at his press conference today, and just the surprising factors of what we have going into this year. But like I said, I think the most important thing right now is that the Andre Dillard thing is really important to a fact where he could be traded this year, and they have a lot of faith in Josh Sills, okay, at left tackle. So, because obviously they're not picking up Andre Dillard's 5th-year option for $12.5 million. So that's out of the question, not going to happen. But we will see down the road what happens with this line. And I'm excited to see what the season brings us with all these guys. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.